The ability to live from the income of your personal resources. This should be everyone's goal, to someday be able to live from the income of your personal resources. Now you can work not because you have to, but because you want to. Do what you have to as quick as you can so you can do what you want to as long as you can. Next key phrase. Economics is major because it's such a vital part of your life. Someone says, well, you know, money is the root of all evil. Not true. Here's what it really says. The love of money is the root of all evil. Here's what's noble. What money can do, the projects it can support, the relief from debt it can create. So economics is major. The key, of course, is what you do with it. If you earn a lot, you should give a lot. If you've been given much, now much is required. Everyone has to solve this about the money to go for. And here's the philosophy, we've already covered it. You should earn as much as you possibly can in the reasonable time devoted to economics. The key is to earn as much as you possibly can. Not at the sacrifice of your friendships, not at the sacrifice of values, not at the sacrifice of integrity. Let's talk now about what to do with the dollar. Now here's the tendency on attitude, because attitude determines so much of our lives. Your financial journey begins with what you do with the first dollar. Here's the two challenges of life. Number one, the development of our full potential. Challenge number two is the wise use of all our resources. And let me share with you now a little plan. Because when I met Shof, and he asked me about my financial condition, he said, how much money have you saved and invested the last 6 years? And I said 0. He said, not a good number. Next key phrase, it's not the amount that counts, it's the plan that counts. So let's start with something now as seemingly as small as $1. Here's what we teach, teenagers especially. You should never spend more than 70 cents. Now what do we do with the other 30? Here's some of the most important information. 10 cents is for charity. Here's one of the best things to teach kids, generosity. Because first we're going to teach abundance, to provide more than you could use for yourself. Because now that gives you great joy to give 10%. Now the next 10 cents is called the use of capital. Here's what capital and capitalism is, so jot this down. Capital is any value you set aside to be invested in an enterprise that brings value to the marketplace, hoping to make a profit. Taking capital and investing it in an enterprise and bringing the value to the marketplace we call capitalism. First of all, the farmers understand it. Here's what seed corn is. It's capital. So the farmer sets aside his seed corn. Question, would he let his family eat it? This seed is not to be eaten. It's to be invested, to take a risk, cared for in the summer, harvested and multiplied in the fall. And we can teach kids the early fundamentals of capitalism. If a child buys a bottle of soap for $2 and sells it for $3, maybe he goes next door and says, Ms. Brown, I've got this soap, Mama uses it, it's really terrific. It's only $3. And I'm here just next door, I take care of you when you run out. Ms. Brown says, well, to be honest with you, I've got plenty of soap. Kid says, you better let me come in and check. Kids don't need sales courses, no. Now we must teach the child what to do with this $3. So jot this down. You must now set aside the $2 to buy another bottle of soap. He said, well, that's true. You can't spend the whole $3. You'd be out of business. Some adults, you see, don't know that. Now, guess what we call this little kid? We call him a capitalist. So 10 cents to show a profit. Now, here's the other 10 cents. It's 10 cents that you invest and let someone else use it. This is called passive capital. So we've got active capital and passive capital. Maybe you invest this in a stock, and the stock pays you dividends, and also there may be an increase in the value of the stock. 70, 10, 10, and 10. It's very simple. Now, When you first start, if you're an adult now, you may be in such bad shape financially that you couldn't do the 70, 10, 10, and 10 if you haven't had a good plan up until now. But jot this down now. It's not the amount that counts, it's the plan that counts. Remember what Shove said. If you will change what? Everything will change for you. Now, when you make a lot of money, these numbers all have to change again. You know, if you're making fortunes, you can't spend 70%. That would be obscene. I probably spend less than 10% of my income. And now you can imagine, if the 70 has gone clear down to 10, you can imagine now what these numbers will be. So make this note. It's your life and it's your future and it's your economics. This is just a suggested plan. Okay. Now here's 2 or 3 more keys on financial independence. Here's number 1. Keep strict accounts. Keep strict accounts. It's just a good habit to have. It's like picking up the trash. It becomes the person you are. Here's the next one. Pay your taxes. Here's what paying taxes does. Feeds the goose that lays the golden eggs called American opportunity. You say, well, the goose eats too much. Probably true. But make the note, better a fat goose than no goose. Everybody should pay. As poor as you might be, you've got to say, no matter how poor I am at the moment, I will make my contribution. Everybody needs to pay. Now, here's one of the best stories ever written. According to the record, Jesus and his disciples one day were at the synagogue, and as Jesus and his disciples stood outside watching the people come by, putting their money in the treasury, it said, some came with large amounts. Some came by with small amounts. Then along comes a little lady, and she puts 2 pennies in the treasury. And Jesus said to his disciples, look at that. And she gave more than everybody else, because I'm positive her 2 pennies represented most of what she had. So since she gave most of what she had, she gave the most. When the little lady put her 2 pennies in the treasury and walked away, here's what didn't occur. Jesus didn't run after this little lady and said, hold it, little lady. You're so pitiful. We have decided to take the 2 pennies out of the treasury and give them back to you. If it would have occurred, she would have been what? Insulted. Jesus left her 2 pennies in the treasury, even though she was poor. Great story.
so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.